welcome back and welcome to another book review video. Today I want to talk to you about On the Come Up by Angie Thomas, which I recently actually did the audiobook for. I absolutely loved Angie Thomas's last novel, The Hate You Give. I have a book review talking all about it, which I will leave linked up here. And I also did a book versus movie because this one was made into a wonderful movie which should have got a little more Oscar attention than it did, in my opinion. And so I made a book versus movie video. If you loved the book but haven't seen the movie and would like to watch, I will also leave that linked up here at some point. So, On the Come Up. Let me read you the synopsis and then you'll know exactly what we're talking about. This is another young adult novel set in the same place as The Hate You Give is set. So if you like the setting of The Hate You Give, you will definitely like On the Come Up. 16-year-old Bree wants to be one of the greatest rappers of all time, or at least win her first battle, as the daughter of an underground hip-hop legend who died right before he hit it big. Bree's got massive shoes to fill, but it's hard to get your come up when you're labelled a hoodlum at school and your fridge at home is empty after your mom loses her job. So Bree pours her anger and frustration into the first song, which goes viral for all the wrong reasons. Insightful, unflinching and full of heart, On the Come Up is an ode to hip-hop from one of the most influential literary voices of a generation. It's a story of fighting for your dreams, even as the odds are stacked against you, and about how, especially for young black people, freedom of speech isn't always free. So let's start with Bree herself. I just loved her. She knows herself. She knows who she is and who she would like to be. She doesn't necessarily know how she's going to get there, but she is a strong, independent young woman. She has some good friends, but she knows that they have their faults as well. And she has a loving family who, again, have faults, but she recognizes those faults and she loves them all the same. I love the fact that throughout the novel, she's always thinking about lyrics and how she could turn situations into songs and into, you know, the poetry that she writes. There are points throughout the book where she hears a word and she thinks about the syllables and the meaning of the word. And that makes those words throughout the course of the book just resonate even more and have even more deeper meaning. And so it just, some parts of the book really stick with you because of the way she's like, hoodlum, 2 syllables, and what it means and what the label means for her. One of the reasons that she gets labelled a hoodlum is because she's not afraid to speak her mind. She doesn't like seeing injustice, she doesn't like seeing people treated badly, and she's not afraid to stand up for herself and for them. And I just loved that about her. I can see how it would be difficult in a school setting, in a classroom setting, in a setting where there's some sort of hierarchy, but I still really respected her for it and really loved her for it. The actual lyrics throughout the book are just stunning. They're amazing. Because I listened on audio, the narrator actually, you know, raps through the lyrics, and so you get a real feel for what they would sound like performed by Bree, because obviously the narrator is also performing the part of Bree. And so it just, I'm so in awe of Angie Thomas's writing. I mean, her debut novel was amazing, you know, I loved that one, but like the depth that she gets with the writing here and the way the lyrics resonate, the places she's chosen to put them throughout the novel, and the way Bree thinks of them and brings them together throughout the novel is just stunning. One of the other things I really love about this book is the fact that it mentioned in the synopsis the fridge being empty, the fact that families can have very little money but still look on the outside as they are living well, can still have a good education, can still have a good family bond, but actually there's only 7 eggs in the fridge and some ketchup, and what are we going to do with that to eat for the week? It addresses the issue of food banks and food stamps and who they are available to and how easy they are to access, how many resources they actually have. And I think that, again, Angie Thomas does an amazing job of putting that in as just a matter of course for the characters in this book, but for people who haven't had to rely on things like that, it is eye-opening, and it is a real she really shines a light on some of the issues surrounding that. And then we have the fact that it's set in the same setting as The Hate U Give, so there are some references to the events that made the news in The Hate U Give in this world, and the fact that, yeah, there are gangs and there are guns and people are arrested, and what that means for these characters as much as what it meant for the characters in The Hate U Give. I love the fact that we're back in this world again, and that there is some significance from that previous novel to the characters in this novel. Brianna's auntie has a big role in this one. Again, that strong family that she's so involved in, and we get to find out what happened to her father, and we get to find out about her mom's past as well. And I just absolutely loved it. As I said about The Hate U Give, this book deals with a lot of issues, but it is not an issues-based book. It is not a book where it's like, oh, there's this issue going on, it's awful, we have to do something about it. It's, these issues are going on and it is awful and we have to do something about it, but it's happening to these characters. It's just a matter of course for these characters. It is part of their everyday lives. We see how it affects them. We see how it affects those around them. We see how it affects their day-to-day lives and how it affects them in the long term. And so I just think it's an incredibly accessible book and an incredibly well-written book. I'm just in awe of her writing and I loved every moment of it. I really recommend the audio. So if you get a chance to get the audiobook from your library, as I did, then get a hold on that right now. Go for it. It's so well done, and you get to hear the lyrics performed rather than just written on the page. So you get to really put yourself into Brianna's world and hear what she has to say. Okay, that's what I've got to say about On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. I believe it has also been optioned for a movie, so we'll see where that goes with that. I could be making a book versus movie video on that one very soon. You never know. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below if you have read this one or The Hate U Give or seen the movie. As I say, I will have linked my reviews of those up above. Make sure you are subscribed so that my next video lands in your subscription feed. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I will be back with another video very soon for you. So I will see you then. Bye.